Did you know that Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day? Well, if not, you're going to find out today. So let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and today we are talking about the history of Cinco de Mayo. If you stick around until the end of the video, you're going to get to hear one of my favorite jokes. I mean, it has it all. History, puns, it's got it. So you don't want to miss it. But let's tell the story first. Now, I think it's important to start by saying that this holiday, or celebration, commemorates the Battle of Puebla, which was a victory over France on May 5th, 1862, which means that this year, 2022, marks the 160th anniversary. But Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day, even though this is a popular misconception because many people outside of Mexico mistakenly believe that Cinco de Mayo is a celebration of Mexican independence, which was declared more than 50 years before the Battle of Puebla. You see, Independence Day in Mexico is commemorated on September the 16th, which is the anniversary of the revolutionary priest Miguel Hidalgo y Castillo's famous Grito de Dolores, which was a call to arms that amounted to a declaration of war against the Spanish colonial government in the year 1810. So, what about the Battle of Puebla? Well, 6,000 French troops under General Charles Latreille de Lorency set out to attack Puebla de los Angeles, which was a small town in east-central Mexico. The Mexicans were able to raise a force of locals with about 2,000 men and sent them to Puebla. This vastly outnumbered and poorly supplied Mexican army, if you will, which was led by Texas-born General Ignacio Zaragoza, fortified the town and prepared for the French assault. On May 5th, 1862, Lorency gathered his army outside of the city of Puebla and led an assault. The battle lasted from basically sunrise to sunset, and when the French finally retreated, they had lost nearly 500 soldiers. Fewer than 100 Mexicans had been killed in the clash. Now, although this was not a very significant battle from a strategic point of view, it was a symbolic victory that reinforced the resistance movement that was able to hold out until France withdrew in 1867. So, do they celebrate this holiday in Mexico? Well, not really like you think. Within Mexico, Cinco de Mayo is primarily observed in the state of Puebla, where Zaragoza's unlikely victory occurred. For many Mexicans, however, May 5th is just a day like any other. It is not a federal holiday, so offices, banks, and stores remain open. Okay, so if it's not a big deal in Mexico, why do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo here in the United States? Well, in the US, Cinco de Mayo is widely interpreted as a celebration of Mexican culture and heritage, particularly in areas with substantial or large Mexican-American populations. Chicano activists raised awareness of the holiday in the 1960s, in part because they identified with the victory of indigenous Mexicans, such as Juarez, over European invaders during the Battle of Puebla. Today, revelers or partiers mark the occasions with parades and parties, mariachi music, Mexican folk dancing, and traditional foods, such as tacos and mole poblanos. Now, some of the largest festivities, if you go around the country, are held in Los Angeles, Chicago, and Houston. But, although modern parties are fun, I want to share a more somber story with you. You see, you may be familiar with the story of the Titanic, thanks to the DiCaprio movie. But did you know that carrying passengers was only part of the story? You see, large ships only made some of their money with passengers. They made most of their money by carrying cargo or shipments across the Atlantic. And of course, you know that the ship was destined for New York City, but that was just the first of multiple stops along the East Coast. Of all of the cargo, one of the largest shipments was a delicacy from Europe: mayonnaise. Although invented in the early 1800s in either France or Spain, it's debated, by the 1900s, the Sir Kensington Company of London actually owned the patent to produce it. So if you wanted mayonnaise, it had to be imported. And that's what the Titanic was doing back then. Now, knowing the fate of the ship, we also know that they never made it to their final port of call, Cozumel. And to this day, the loss is still mourned as Cinco de Mayo. What do you think? Pretty good joke, right? Now, what about the holiday? Back to that. Do you have any plans for Cinco de Mayo? I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, okay? And while you're there, go ahead and hit that like button for me so YouTube knows to share this video with everyone. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Turn that red button gray. And be sure to check out my other videos like the ones you see to the side over here. I have other history videos, US history, world history, random history. I even have videos that are shot in 360 that you can look all the way around. So do yourselves a favor, check them out because I know you're going to like them. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. I'll see you next time.